Hello, 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 YouTube learners. Welcome back. This is Dr. Satish Singhal, PhD, Professor of Computer Science at El Camino College, Torrance, California. Today I want to talk about writing to text or ASCII output files in C++ and why you should watch this video as opposed to a lot of books I've seen, because I do things a little bit differently, and you might find that advantageous. So first we're going to do some work here in Microsoft Word document, and then we're going to go to Xcode on Mac and do some coding and some demo. Okay, so you know that you can write to console using cout. So if I do this, hello world, well, that's going to print to your console hello world. So how can we do something like that if I wanted to write hello world to an output file? How can I do that? Well, cout is a global object. This thing is a global object, and when you do cout, you are including iostream. Computer already knows where to go and where to output this little verbiage. Okay, but when you are writing to file, computer has to know where your file is. So first it needs to know the full path to the file to which you want to write. So full path to file would be something like this. In Windows it will be like your drive letter, first folder name, second folder name, within that might be second folder, slash, and you keep going, and lastly you will have a file name, and I'm adding the extension txt, though that's not necessary, as long as you know that this file you're writing to can only be opened with a software that has like Notepad on Windows or Text Edit on Mac, Text Wrangler, which doesn't show any fonts and things, although I think Text Edit does show font. As long as you open that file with any of these Notepad++ pieces of software, then you can name extension, could be anything. I just find txt extension more convenient, so I always have that. That would be your full path to your file name. Now sometime there might be white spaces in file name or folder names. You could have something like this, and that's allowed in pretty much, except Unix operating system where it's not allowed. It's allowed on Windows and Mac both. So that's the second situation that you could have. You could only even have something like this, and that has a bearing on how we input the full path to the file, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So your full path to output file will look like this. Now output file may exist already, this file may exist already, or it may not. And if it doesn't exist, then your C++ program will create it inside these folders. Okay, that's the story about full path to the file, output file. Okay, so how are we going to tell computer this path to the file? Well, if you worked with any operating system to some degree, you would know that you cannot create two files with the same name in the same folder. That's impossible. Computer will not let you do it. You'll have to add the word copy or something at the end. So that means that gives us this fact that full path to a file is its unique identifier. Full path to a file is unique for each file on your computer. No two such paths are same. This is a very important fact because that's the one that allows computer to find your file, to write or create it. In case of output file, you can create it. Okay, remember that unique identifier thing. So first steps in, once I go to Xcode, I'm just going to do coding. So you do need to remember all these steps. And of course, if you didn't understand something, you can pause the video, go back, watch again. You might have to do a couple of iterations to understand everything. Okay, so these are the steps in writing to a file. Number one, get full path to output file and store it in a string. Okay, let's do a little bit of work on that. Obviously, you're going to do cout and ask user to input full path to output file. The question is, should I use, I have two choices, cin arrow arrow, or let's do this declaration string out file name. And then I have two choices. I can do cin arrow arrow that, but I have to tell you, this is a total disaster. And so many learners don't understand this. The reason is, if your file path is like this, the cin arrow arrow, this statement is only going to get this because it skips on first white space. It doesn't get the white spaces. Okay? And then you can say, okay, I'm going to hard code the file name. Well, lots of books do that, and I don't want to badmouth them, but excuse my French. Are you going to ship a software where file name is hard coded? What if user doesn't even have rights to write to that hard coded path that is in the program? So it's amateurish, totally it's so amateurish that it shouldn't even be taught. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, hard coding file path, you can do it during testing. You never do it in a product that is going to be shipped. I mean, that if you do that, you're creating software which no one is going to buy. End of the story. Okay, so this is not an option because in Windows and Mac both, this kind of folder name is allowed, which is white space, and it's going to skip right here. It's only going to get this much. So complete disaster. Doesn't work. So what do? We have a thing called getline. Getline requires include a string. Of course, the string you're going to do because we declared that right here. So this is what we'll do. Getline cin, because we're getting input from the cin, and out file name. Works and required in software you wish to sell. Getline has its own problems. The buffer should be clean before you can use getline, but that's another story. That's another video. I'm not going to talk about that here. So notice once, so I'm going to comment that out because we're not even going to do that. Once you use getline, that means from the keyboard, get the full path to the file, which could be like this, and store that into this string. So this string will have path to the file, okay? And if file doesn't exist, computer will create it. I'll demo that a little bit later, okay? Okay, so I got the unique identifier to the file stored in this string. Now I have to connect number 2, bond the full file path to an off-stream object. So off-stream is like, just like cout writes to console, an off-stream object for which you have to give a variable name is capable of writing to an output file whose name we have stored here. So how do we do that? We declared an off-stream object first. And you can call it, this is the data type. I can call it any name I like. I just like something simple like out. So RAM will create an object called out, and there's an include required for that, which is fstream, number include fstream. That include is required before you can use this data type offstream. Okay, but we have not bonded offstream object out to file name yet. We do that using an open function, out.open, and pass the file name string. That's it. Now this out object is bonded to this file, which means when we start writing, out object can be used just like cout arrow arrow to write to output file, like you use something like cout arrow arrow, and now you can use out arrow arrow to write to the file, write to console, write to file. Okay, we'll show demo on the expert. Okay, that's fine. In a perfect world, that would be enough, but this file name user specified might have errors in it. What kind of errors? I'm not going to go into too much detail. Let's say drive letter that drive doesn't exist. Instead of C, I put a Z here. Z. Well, Z may not even exist. Then computer no way to write to it. Or it might be a drive letter on which you are not allowed to write. That happens in the Unix shared environment where there might be very many drive letters and you may not be allowed to write certain. You may not have write permission in certain areas of the network, and then it will fail. And on Windows there are about 9 names that you are not allowed to use for file. So again, that's a lot of detail. That's another video. But basically the point is, after you open the file, output file, there's no guarantee it has been opened successfully. So you always check for that. And check for that is our third step, which is validate file opening. And I'm telling you, if I have 50 cents each time somebody doesn't do this absolutely required step, I would be a millionaire by now. I mean, so many people just ignore that. No, you have to do it. you must validate file opening, but that's done very simply with this piece of code. If out dot, there's a function called isOpen, and yes, function require parentheses. Then out isOpen function will return a true if file is successfully open and ready to write. Okay, so what is the conclusion here? File is successfully opened, one can write to it. And okay, so we'll fill out a little bit more code here in a minute. Otherwise, you have to tell user who gave this bad file name, hey, file cannot be opened. Yeah, good programs always inform. So maybe I can shift this whole code on the next page. I guess it won't matter. Yeah, it won't matter. I can change the layout to portrait, so give me a little bit more space. Okay. Else, you tell user could not open output file. More information can be given, but we have to be short. Okay. So, and look, you could do return 0 or something, but bad idea. In a entry-level course, you should learn to use this long if and else to get practice of long nested structures. Once you know that, you can do anything you like. I mean, people do exit 0 here, but not a good idea. Okay, so I need something to write to the file. I'll say string line equal to quick brown fox jumped over a lazy dog, and I just want to write that string to the file. So that's all I'll do. Out line. And lo and behold, this string will be printed to the file to which this out object is bonded, whose name is here. And let's not forget the last step, close the file. Very important. My typing is not that good anymore. And that's very simply done by out.close. Closing file is just as important as opening it. In a shared environment, if you're writing with a file to which many people are writing, that's the append mode. I won't talk about append mode in this video, or maybe I can in a minute. You must close the file because other people may want to write to it. If you want to write file, okay, so if you open it this way, if file exists, all the previous data will be deleted from it. And that could be bad sometime. If file doesn't exist, then you're okay. File wasn't even there, so it will create it. But file exists, then you can do this app. This will write in the append mode. That means it will not delete the previous data and it'll just keep writing after the last write was done. So maybe we'll keep it, okay? All right, so I think we're ready to demo this on Xcode. And I'm just gonna go back and forth and copy and paste a few things because they work pretty good. So let's go to Xcode. And I've already included ofstream and string. So I'm just gonna go back to my document, and I may have to change some strings and things. So okay, copy only up to here. And of course I have to declare that one. Sorry about that. Okay, but before you do this input, you need to prompt user cout enter full path to the file you wish to write in. And they will enter that, and then it will get stored here. Then we copy and paste those pieces of code. Step 2, sorry, ofstream object out.open, you get the file name, which is unique identifier, and this means you're going to be writing in the append mode. The previous data will not be deleted if file exists. Do the step 3, validate the file opening, and I'll just get that. And why don't I get this last one also? I'll comment out stuff that is the text. My quotes won't transfer from Word to, come on, don't hide. This is crazy. Okay. Okay, and I'm writing to the output file. Else my quotes won't transfer. Okay, this is in the Word document, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, got all the steps. Enter full path to file you wish to write in. Getline gets the whole path, including white space. Offstream object out, this include is required, this include is required. And I open it, unique identifier to the file, and append mode. IsOpen function will return true if file can be successfully opened or created. Now file successfully open. I have this line here, quick brown fox jumped over lazy dog. It's going to print it to the file. If this name had all kind of errors, not allowed to write to certain part of hard drive, illegal file name, then IsOpen will return false. So this whole expression will be false, and then else block will execute. Finally, we close the file. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna create a file, blank file. Sorry. In the location, and I'm also gonna show you I rarely type file name. So let me go to my show in Finder, and over here I'm just gonna create a new text file called out. Okay, save. So out.txt. Now if you don't believe me, this is blank. I can show you it is blank. You have to be able to believe me. This is text wrangler, and can you see there's nothing in there, and I'll leave it. Okay, we'll use it again. Now, okay, how do I find the path? Okay, I mean, if you're looking at my computer here, that's the path. Pretty long one, right? And you can say, well, I'm too lazy to actually type the path. Okay, in that case, what we're going to do is, in Mac at least, and you can do that in Windows, we're gonna just run it on a terminal. So terminal, of course I have to compile it first, so let's just do that. I compiled the program, build succeeded, no compile error, and yeah, it closed by itself, fine, no problem. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag and drop this over here. That's my whole path to my exe. And let me bump font so you can see it a little clearly, and that should be enough. So I start the program. It says enter full path to file you wish to write in, and being lazy that I am, I'm not going to type the file path. I'm just going to drag and drop it. There you go, it filled out the whole path. You can do this in Windows. In Mac you can do this using terminal. And then if I hit enter key, because file name was correct, I'll be okay. That file that was empty will have quick brown fox, will have this little verbiage in there. Okay, let's go back to terminal. So this happens very fast, people get surprised, but it happens. And my program is finished, but I can go here and show you that output file has that. See, quick brown fox jumped over lazy dog. So this was a simple demo. If you're using a loop or something to process data, yeah, you can process this again. And just to prove this was done in append mode, I can run the program again, give it the same file again, and close this. Over here, then you'll get it twice. So we'll open the file again. Can you see it got done twice? Because we did the append mode and it didn't delete the previous data. Okay, what if I'm just naughty and just give some garbage file name? Yeah, you could do that. Some garbage file name. Oh, wait a minute, that will be created actually. Sorry about that. Yeah, there's no drive letter Z on this computer, so I'll say Z. Now I can do something like this. And it'll say could not open output file because there's no drive letter Z created. Okay. And trust me, file is closed. So those are all the steps to write to an output file. If you want to see the steps again, rewind the video and watch it again. Once again, thank you. And this is Dr. Satish Singhal, PhD. Oh, by the way, I forgot A in California. Saying temporary goodbye from California. Thank you very much.